He already got your wings. The All-Star game is going, but you can just have us on in the background. Do you need to listen to the commentators? Probably not, because they slow. You can just be listening to what we got going on here. Germ So True, Views from the 22, presented by The Scene. We live on The Scene. We got the Godfather J Ham. We got Big Shot, the best point guard in the nation. We got Vic Jr., scout extraordinaire. We got DVR Czar Trav. We all here. Only guy we missing, shouts out to the guy Chef. Couldn't make it tonight, or he may pop in. We just never know. It just may happen. But he has the access to pop in whenever he wants because he got his lab key will always work as long as I got a dough. Fellas, how we doing tonight? Everybody feeling good? Ham, how you feeling?
Cooling, man. Cooling over here drinking on some fruit punch. Cooling out, eating a few hams, homemade, strawberry white. Man, the damn cookies, y'all. I got them pumping out. Y'all might see me go live in the kitchen early tomorrow morning. Cut a few promos, talk a little noise. I don't know. I'm just going to freestyle it like how we finna freestyle this episode. Wide world of sports on our end, like how we get down. Because we got a mixture. And yeah, I'm watching the All-Star game, and not in the background, but right here. Y'all can't see it. I can.
Sounds like fun.
Big Shot, my guy, man. What's going on, man?
Hey, I am just here as a guest on Views. See what y'all talking about. We getting ready. Free agency coming up, draft around the corner. NFL off season is still in season. So absolutely. I'm just here to talk with y'all. Good, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Your lab key gonna work too. Trav, my God, what's up, baby?
Man, I'm just here so I won't get fined. I'm just living and learning every day, man. Just living and learning, man. Let's get this thing going.
And my guy, my dog, my brother, he been missing this week. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he here tonight. We got Vic.
I mean, listen, just had a little decent weekend. Took some time to myself, had a little bit of fun, and get back to the grind again. This free agency should be exciting. This draft should be exciting. We missed the combine, but the pro days are going to be fun too. There's going to be a little bit of more. I forgot the name, but there was a little combine that some other people decided to do. We got some kid from Georgia running a 4.24 or something like that. So, we just go off of those numbers, and it is what it is. We'll be ready. We'll be ready for this new NFL season already.
So we're just gonna dive right into it, man. First and foremost, let's just start with quarterbacks. Because quarterbacks are the biggest part of this draft. They're the most important part of the sport. We're going to dive right into them. Of course, we got situations on hand here. Dak Prescott still has not been signed. And now we got Russ, Mr. Danger Russ, Sierra's husband. I ain't going to call him Sierra's wife on live TV because that's wrong. But Sierra's husband, he is clearly a part of this trade, the trade carousel. And then also, Deshaun still has not been moved. And I'm still shocked as to why he has not been moved yet. So, fellas, I'm going to start at the top with this, and we're going to have some fun with this moving down the line. First and number one, knowing what we know about the quarterback so far, knowing what we know about Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, and also Russell Wilson, we all said here that we're going to take the veteran guys because they are proven commodities in this football league already. And that's what I believe everybody on this panel has already said. So moving forward, if you're a team like Jacksonville, if you're a team like the Dolphins, do you just say, you know what? I got all of the pieces around this team that I want. Maybe I just need to focus on building in the draft. Maybe I just need to focus on making sure I find the right talent and just continuing to build that way. Fellas, what are some of our thoughts? Let's start with Jacksonville. Ham, I'm actually going to start with you. Jacksonville currently right now, y'all, is sitting at over $87 million in free agent money with a full roster. That's just so y'all know. So that means there's nobody been assigned extra. No cuts officially have been made. They have 61 players and a total of $87 million. So, Ham, if you're this team, do you say, I got the number one overall pick, I got another first round pick, 2 seconds and 2/3, and $87 million. Do you go and you try to put it together now? Or do you sit there and try to play it conservative?
Play conservative for what? especially in this market where your window is getting more narrow by the day, the year, the season, all of that. You got a lot of assets to play with. Full roster, 80 plus million, whatever it is, you can make something happen. It's just a matter of, and then of course you got a brand new culture, which you got Urban Meyer down there. Had a misstep in the hiring process, that didn't look good. And you might want to recover from that. Hopefully that wouldn't deter people from wanting to come down and reestablish and rebuild a new culture within Jacksonville. But if it's me, and I put it to you like this, the Khan family, for the last couple of years in football and outside of football as well, they've been making and shaking, with some moves. And it's like, why wouldn't they do the same here? That's just the way I look at it. I don't know what they could do to make it, feasible. This is actually why I'm here, so I can learn what possible avenues that they could travel down with this thing. But that would be my mindset, though. Oh, I got to plug the program, baby. That's why I'm here.
So, Big Shot, what are you thinking?
I think if you're Jacksonville, it really depends on how strongly you feel about Trevor Lawrence. If you feel that strongly about Trevor Lawrence, then you're probably not pushing the chips in on the table for Dak Prescott or Deshaun Watson or going to sign free agent quarterback. So that to me dictates your choice. I think overall, Jacksonville to me is a prime. Like Jacksonville to me is 3 years from really being something. So to me, we talked about the pre-show meeting. Jacksonville, you got to draft with because you really are probably not going to be able to get anybody a big ticket item to come there. I think build through the draft. I think for what they have going, definitely. Miami, different situation, but we'll get to that. I think if I'm Jacksonville, if I feel strongly about Trevor Lawrence, you draft him and you start there. If you feel that strongly about it.
Trav.
I also feel the draft is going to be very important for them. But like Big Shot said again, if they got that much faith in Trevor Lawrence with the money that they got left over, that's going to tell you something. Because you got Dak Prescott out there. You got Deshaun Watson out there. You got Russell out there. If you keep this rookie, is they gonna overshadow your interest in a prime winner? That's gonna be tough, but it starts at the draft though. They have to draft something important besides a quarterback. What other pieces can you draft to make that team better?
See, Vic, I'm gonna let you go. Then I'm gonna give a scenario. But Vic, what are you thinking? How are you? What's your thought process here?
Well, I'm glad you let me go last there. There's a couple of things that I could pick it back off of what everybody said here. The first thing, Jerm, free agency starts next Wednesday, right? The 17th. So
yes,
it's a possibility. We still got a week and a half before we could see anybody's moving. You know what I mean? So, even though these guys haven't moved yet, we still got a little bit of a window here where we could finally see some things starting to heat up this week and next week. As far as the that window that Ham talked about, 4 years ago, that Jacksonville defense looked like they had a future for like 10 years. So when we talk about football, the window in football is like that, right? So then that leads me to what should they do in the draft? I think that, I'm the guy. You guys know I'm the guy that I'm the draft. I want to build through the draft. That's where I would go with my football team. But when we talk about that quarterback position, and I had a choice between Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, or Trevor Lawrence, and we're not even going to just say Trevor Lawrence because Zach Wilson is one special-looking quarterback that we're going to talk about a lot the next couple months. I'm looking at Deshaun, and I'm pretty sure that Jacksonville is doing their homework, hopefully, all right, with all the assets that has been named here with the money and the draft picks. They have to be like offering some trades here for whether it's Prescott, whether it's Watson, and even a 32-year-old Wilson. that I think has about 5 to 7 years left in them. And they've drafted well. Clearly, they've messed with their cap situation very well as well to have $67 million to play with. So this is an interesting team. So we're gonna see. We talked about it before, and we're gonna continue to talk about it. See what they can do. The next couple months.
So here's what makes this fun, right? So I agree with everybody's point here, but I'm gonna give you a scenario, and this is a scenario that I want everybody to comment on. Quick, 15 seconds, rapid fire style. If we bring in Dak Prescott and we sign him, let's say for $37 million a season, that $37 million takes us to $50 million that we still have under the cap, right? So from that 50, we sign another lineman at a key position, which that we'll need. And then on top of us doing that, we still have the first overall pick in the draft, and we can take the best lineman, or we can trade back and get more assets. Whatever it is that we decide to do. That's just if you sign Dak.
Yeah.
Dak is the best option for Jacksonville. You keep all of your assets. You bring in a young quarterback who's still in his – Dak ain't even hit his prime yet, y'all.
There's upside there. There's more upside than it looked at first when he first came in. So,
it's
especially
more
being a
upside.
4th-round pick.
You might not disagree with me when I say this. It's more upside with picking Dak because we don't know what his upside is, opposed to taking Russ because we know what Russ is.
Now, I know Dak hasn't been signed yet, but would he be somebody you have to give up compensation for if you do sign?
Well, the Cowboys. Listen. If they don't come to an agreement, the Cowboys will tag him. Then they'll determine if they give him. I forgot the name, but there's 2 different tags.
Transition tag.
The transition tag, or one is that you keep them because you want them, or you put the tag where you get compensation for it. So if another team says we'll give you the 2 first-round picks for this player, then you can go ahead and say we'll take the picks or we'll match the offer.
Oh man,
that is going to be on the Cowboys, and I mean at the end of the day, I think the Cowboys have made a decision. They're gonna keep him. It's just, are they gonna give him the money? There's supposedly a rumor now that he wants $44 million. So it's a messy situation. I'm thinking the more realistic for Jacksonville to be doing right now is shooting their offers.
Where are my pearls? Oh my God!
Shooting their offers for Deshaun and for Russ. Right now is what Jacksonville is going to be looking at, or go for the draft.
Vic, say that number one more time.
There was a rumor that he wanted $44 million.
Yeah. Hey, get it. Hey, nobody get no bread.
I ain't checking nobody's pocket.
I swear.
I ain't checking nobody's pocket unless you're Lamar Jackson. I'm
listen,
even there, like Alex Thomas on the watch. Get your paper, cuz.
The easiest thing for me to do to hold my comments and be a little bit more positive for 2021 is we're gonna move on. Because I'm not about to do that. I'm not doing this with y'all today. Miami. Briefly, we're gonna talk about Miami, and then we're gonna get into some cap things and some things like that. Miami has a situation where they got all Houston's picks. It feel like they got every last one of them folks picked. They got the 1st round pick, the 2nd round pick. I think they got the 3rd round pick too. They got all their picks. It don't even make no sense. So if you're in this situation, do you just say, "Hey, I'll give you all your picks back for Deshaun Watson"?
Yeah, I mean, how crazy would that be, yo?
You're like, "Hey, I'll give you all your picks back for Deshaun," and we'll throw in Tua. But why I'm asking this question is because Miami showed promise this year. They showed that they have a good, outstanding coach in Brian Flores, who I think was snubbed in the Coach of the Year award. And not to mention that, I just think that this team has all the assets in the right place for them to make that push. And they're about 2 or 3 pieces away from on defense, meaning one good pass rusher to go along with the fact that maybe one good guy on the interior, and boom, we just turned our entire franchise culture around. Mm-hmm. So moving forward, fellas, what do we think about Miami as a collective? Like, do you feel like this team is ready to take that next step? Is Tua a part of that step, or do we think maybe we need to go after another quarterback? Big Shot, I'm going to start with you.
So it's the exact opposite in Miami. You were 10-6. You have all these assets. From what I can tell with my untrained quarterback eye, I don't know if Tua is it. And I would put the chips in for Deshaun. I think they are in a position when you have a really good season like that, with young pieces that you just talked about, Jared, to build on, unless you are absolutely sure, which I don't think anybody in that organization is, unless you are absolutely sure Tua is going to be something, hey, as I like to say, don't hurt you to pick up the phone. Don't cost you anything to make a phone call.
That's a part of your coverage already. So, Trav.
Pick that phone up, man. Pick that phone up and call them. Call them. Don't let that 10-6 fool you. You creeped up on quite a few teams. Although you had some good quality corners, especially the guy that's supposed to be the cornerback that's supposed to got Defense Player of the Year, in my opinion. Their defense was solid. That 10-6 snuck up on a lot of people. But don't be fooled, because half of that 10-6 was catered to by Fitzpatrick. That wasn't Tua. That was Fitzpatrick. If you want that to keep going, you're going to – Tua ain't it. Sorry. Tua is not – he's not it. He won some Drew Brees type games. That joker was going, 11 for 21, 188 yards, 1 touchdown. Defense saved them. They won games. But when it was time for him to win a game, he was getting pulled. The last one he got pulled, Fitzpatrick saved him. That's what the face mask turned. He still threw. That was against Oakland, correct? I mean, Vegas. That was against Vegas.
Mm-hmm. You could have said Oakland. Same thing.
The Raiders.
MGM Grand Raiders. Shout out to April.
I love their stadium, by the way, though. Yes. But you need to make that call. Make that call. Still, if you want to get rid of the picks, fine. Because their offense is decent as far as your skill players, but you need somebody to get them the ball. Deshaun is that guy. Russell is that guy. Dak is that guy.
Ham?
The thing I worry about with them is that dangerous precedence of violating the culture on your own soil. You cannot force feed Tua or anybody else when it's just not working. I understand why you try to do that. And it's funny because we've seen that even at the collegiate level where the politics would play. And the first thing that comes to mind when I think about that, y'all old enough to remember, Jerm and Vic, Drew Henson, Tom Brady. It's kind of in that, because they really pushed Drew Henson. It's like you got the G back here though. You know what I'm saying? And when time came in Tom's senior season, Drew's freshman season, and they still tried to force feed it, they put 12 in. I don't think he was 12 at that point. But they put him in, they ended up winning the Big 10. He was number 10, exactly. And they won the Big 10, they ended up going to the Rose Bowl. But you can't really afford to do that in the NFL like that. And Fitzpatrick is not your answer either. So which is why we like, you got multiple quarterbacks that's out here that's available right now.
There's options. Yep. Options.
Yeah, you got multiple nice options. Like Big Shot said, man, you don't even need a calling card for that one, Chief. Pick the phone up.
Vic, what you think?
10-10-3-2-1, none of that. Call them folks.
Some people are gonna give us the give to a time thing. Look at what happened to Drew Brees, because since he has so many Drew Brees comparisons, it's so different. German and I are gonna look at it from a film standpoint. We're gonna look at it from a scouting standpoint, and if we felt like the kid can play at this level, then we would say give him some time, right? But we feel like he doesn't have the physical traits nor the mental traits. If he had physical traits and mental traits, then we would say give him some time. But not everybody can play at this level. You know what I'm saying? It's just not for everybody. And I feel like Tua is a perfect example of a Ken Dorsey situation. Go ahead, Ham. I mean, because Ken Dorsey, like I told y'all, like I told y'all, Ken Dorsey was in 2000. That was 21 years ago. I was 14, 15 years old. And when I saw Ken Dorsey and that Miami team, I was like, damn, this kid looks like the next special quarterback in the NFL, right? But then he was not. And then that's what got me to like, damn, I got to get better at this. That's when I got interested in the draft. That's when I got interested in scouting and understanding talent, right? That's what Tua looks like to me right now. Just a guy that got the heavy media push. He came in on that freshman year, had a great game, made a great throw, up the sideline, and then that was it. Like, it's again, every quarterback deserves some time, but like it just seems like some of them will tell you right away if they can play at this level. Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield. They came in immediately and they changed their teams to a certain aspect. You know what I mean? So it's tough. And again, if I'm the Dolphins, they have the pieces and they also have the assets to make that phone call for Houston and get Deshaun in Miami.
So just to wrap this up and to say this, Tua looks so good to Alabama fans and to everybody across the nation because of where they came from. Jalen wasn't the traditional pocket passer, and we hadn't seen a good actual quarterback or decent pocket passing quarterback since what? What's the kid that played for the Bills now? His name is
Josh Allen.
Not Josh Allen. What's the kid that played? No, well, the other Alabama quarterback. He was throwing to Amari Cooper. I can't remember his name right now. AJ McCarron. AJ McCarron. Yes. Wow. So we're looking at quarterbacks from these perspectives, and we're looking at what these quarterbacks do well. And we can honestly say that AJ McCarron was probably one of the better quarterbacks that Bama ever had. And we're not saying he was good. We're just saying better than what they're used to.
But you mean on the NFL scale, right?
Sometimes you just have guys who are just great college quarterbacks.
Right? That's true. Right.
Sometimes a guy like Dorsey, Matt Leinart, AJ McCarron at that level, they threw
the wild part about Dorsey and Chris Wink as well is that they both went on to train quarterbacks in the league.
Right, because maybe that's where it's at for them. You know?
Exactly, Vic. Maybe that's just where their lane is. They have the knowledge.
Yeah, what are these two on TV? We got JT O'Sullivan, that we respect what he has to say about quarterbacks. He wasn't a great NFL quarterback, but he can break a quarterback down. And then this kid that played for Detroit, the UConn kid,
Dan Orlowski.
Look how silly he looked sometimes on the field. But you can kind of respect some of the breakdown that he has for that position. So, the thing is, there's 32 football teams. Can y'all sit here and tell me there's 32 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks in the NFL right now?
Nope.
Can't even tell you. So, 15.
I can't tell you it's 5.
Straight up.
So I mean, when you be like, give Tua some time, like he ain't it, Chief. We trying to win a champ. We professionals. It's first place or nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, you cannot accept second place. I do not accept second place, especially at the professional level.
In a one-game scenario, this ain't the NBA, Chief, where you got 2 weeks to figure it out. You got to beat me 4 times. This is a one-game scenario. Winner takes all. That means if you come up and you play, you got to show up and play. Ain't no such thing as we got halftime to come back and think about what we're gonna do for game 2. No, halftime is when you go in and you gotta think about what you're gonna do in the second half. Brady in 2016. So let's just call it what it is. It is what it is. So the next part of this that gets even more fun. Briefly, Vic, I'm gonna ask you this question, then we're gonna go to the next part. Scouting combine this year. We don't have a scouting combine, but as you said, somebody put on an actual combine or a little mini combine situation.
I forgot the
Here's
name.
the problem that I have. Here's the problem that I have without no combine this year. I need to see you guys on a neutral field.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what you do on your pro day field. That doesn't tell me anything. That tells me absolutely nothing because this is where you're the most comfortable. In Indianapolis, this is where everybody is telling you exactly what they need you to do. So these ain't scripted workouts that go toward what you do well. These are scripted workouts about what you need to do. That's my only concern this year. So I think we will have some overdrafted players that we will get this year because based on their pro days now, they're going to run better 40 times. They're going to have better workouts. So Vic, thoughts on that? And then we'll get everybody else's thoughts.
I mean, I think it's going to go both ways, bro. There's going to be overdrafted and underdrafted players. There's going to be players that might get drafted 5th, 6th, 7th round with way more value than ever before. You know what I mean? Because they didn't have that extra workout. Then there is going to be players like, you know, I'm just going to throw it out there, the first overall pick that might get overdrafted. So, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a little bit of both. You know, there's some value in the pro days, but like you said, put them in that scenario where they're uncomfortable. They're going to meet everybody. The media's there. The presence is there. It's an uncomfortable scenario, and whoever performs the best, gives you the best numbers, usually, you know, determines, you know, what kind of NFL player they're going to be. So, but, you know, it is interesting. I know Brandon Marshall was in that the combine that I was talking about, that some program set up. But other than that, I mean, you know, it's just all we're gonna go by now is for sure who studies the film the most is gonna determine the most successful draft class from this year.
So, my other fellas here, we got Big Shot, Trav, and Ham. I'll go Trav first because I ain't went to Trav first yet. No combine, no problem, or combine, you know, big problem.
Souped up numbers when you're doing pro days at home. That's the whole point of the pro days, because if you don't have a good combine, you go home to rectify those numbers that you was looking bad at and try to make them look impressive. I think what you say, Vic, dude from Georgia, he ran a 4.26.
4.24 cornerback.
4.24, 4.26 cornerback.
Yeah.
You know, our first run, because usually they run like twice or 3 times.
Twice.
Yeah.
That was one. They took that. They didn't show the second one. They only showed that one. Don't get caught in the fool's gold. That's where the tape and the film is going to tell the truth. The 4.2, the 4.26, or the 4.24, that ain't nothing. It's all about game tape. How this guy guard. Anybody can be fast, but can everybody possess their speed with technique and skill?
This is a kid that is probably a 2nd, 3rd round grade that might jump in the 1st round because of that little run there.
4.24. Yep.
Ham.
Big problem. Big problem both ways. And it's going to further expose not just the player, but the people that's evaluating these players, these people that's making the selection to select these players. It's going to expose a whole lot. And it's going to result in crash dummy situations within football organizations. And it's not going to look good. And we were speaking about this prior to us going on. All of what we got going on around us within free agency, within COVID protocols, everything, it is a total readjustment of how to be and prepare as a professional athlete on a week-to-week, day-to-day basis, all of that. And now that has to be factored in within this combine and drafting structure as well, because you don't have the same contact. We saw that even with, going through the NBA. Want the same scouting combine as well there. So we saw some picks that even on draft night where all of us were like, oh, word? Okay, cool. Not really, but all right, go for it. But that's kind of where it's leaning, because it's so much that's unknown. There's a lot that's evolving and changing around us. So not just the players have that adjustment, but the people that's calling the shots, they got the biggest adjustment because they got a lot that's laying on the line for it. And somebody got to be held accountable for it.
So, Big Shot, I'm going to let you give your thoughts on this, and then we can wrap this up and go to the fun part of the show. Big problem, no problem at all.
I think it's a bigger problem for the evaluators because now you ain't going to be able to just look at that chart of numbers and say, well, 4.24, whatever broad jump, da-da-da-da. You're going to have to actually look at game tape. You're going to have to actually watch game tape and see what the film shows you. And you're going to have to draft now with some instinct. Mm-hmm. Because there's no combine, now you're going to have to be able to say, does my gut tell me that dude can play? Or could my gut tell me, maybe not? So it's going to be a little bit more, some more traditional scouting field. You're going to have to make judgment calls now. Using your film. I think they're still going to do the virtual interviews. You still have to do the virtual interviews, but yeah, it's going to be it's going to be a little bit more old school with that. What does your gut tell you about this player?
And that's going to be the fun part of this. Because you know what? Me and Vic have broken down the scouting tutelage for ourselves, and we break it down to traits for the positions that translate to each level. And if you don't have traits that transition, what you find yourself doing is you find yourself in a situation where you just got a bunch of stuff that you just looking at one time rather than focusing on key things. When we scouted Myles Garrett, for example, this is a perfect guy to talk about. You have to look at the explosiveness in which the player comes up off the line at the position that we're looking at to scout. We have to look at how they take on blockers, how they use their hands, and those type of things. If you look at that from that perspective, where did anything that he did from a physical standpoint, considering he plays the most physically imposing position in football, which is the right end, the traditional pass rusher, the old school guy with the natural bend, that should be your best athlete on your team. When you teach people this, people say, no, well, I don't think he should be. Well, Lawrence Taylor, although he played outside linebacker, was the best player, and he was an edge rusher. Mm-hmm. I mean, where are we not understanding how important these players are? That's the reason why the left tackle became what the left tackle is in football today because of Lawrence Taylor.
The blind
these are facts. These are not things I'm making up. These are facts. So why I'm saying all of this, I'm saying all that so we can get the understanding of what each position does collectively for each spot on the field. Now, we're gonna play a real fun game here. It's gonna be called draft or sign. Now, how the game works is I'm going to name an organization and a position of need, and I'm going to name draftable players at the position. Today's focus will primarily be wide receiver because it's the most fun position in football because we got 20 free agents and we got like 20 more prospects. So now we get to play a fun game. Segue into it, though. I just want y'all to give y'all just a little information. The average receiver right now and the cap hit for a receiver that you franchise tag is $18 million.
Okay.
The average receiver in this day and age is getting paid between $15 to $18 million. The average rookie receiver that is drafted in the top 3 is going to get between $7 to $10 million for the duration of his rookie contract. Okay.
We got about a $10 million gap between.
This is about to be fun.
I'm already cheating because I know a cardinal rule. Go ahead.
So we have Adriel Jeremiah Green of the Cincinnati Bengals, who just lived his best life on a guaranteed franchise tag for $18.7 million last season for the Bengals. If you are Cincinnati, do you draft a guy or do you sign AJ Green? Well, you say, well, Jerm, what are they going to draft and who do they have available to draft? Well, here's the most beautiful thing. We can go here and we can find somebody for them to draft. Vic, what's a criteria that you look for that Cincinnati needs? Does Cincinnati need an X receiver or do you feel T. Higgins is their X receiver?
I got T. Higgins as their X. Future X for sure.
So, okay. You made this easy. Okay, cool. Sign AJ Green or draft Jalen Waddle, Rondale Moore. What's the other kid's name? I'm gonna give you all the names. Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase.
So you want me to answer that now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So for sure. If they do their homework, all right, and we know what they should be drafting first, but if the receiver is up there in their board, I'm drafting Jamar Chase over any of those receivers right now, and that's including the Heisman winner. So Jamar Chase will be my answer over AJ Green.
So you take
the rest of those guys.
So basically what you're saying is you're taking draft pick over signing.
I'm taking a draft pick over AJ Green for sure. Yep.
Damn. Draft pick AJ Green.
Miller genuine draft, baby. Straight up. I mean, I explain my rule. I explain the cardinal rule when we get done.
Mm-hmm.
Draft or draft pick or signee.
AJ got to go, man. Just for the culture. Just for the culture deal. Just for the, not saying that it's a bad thing. It's a culture. When you bought Joe Burrow in, you instantly made yourself as far as we're not going to rebuild, but we're going to get younger, athletic, and everything else. AJ actually deserves better, but you got to draft at this point.
Yeah.
Big shot. Draft or sign?
Draft.
Next team. We're gonna go and I'm gonna make this fun for y'all on this one. We're gonna go to a team that needs a receiver very, very bad. We're gonna go to the Washington football team. Do you draft a top tier guy or do you sign Corey Davis, Allen Robinson, Sammy Watkins, or Juju Smith-Schuster?
Pick do they have?
Pick number, I can give you that pick 1 second. Give me 30 seconds.
So, I mean, they're probably going to pick a little bit later in the draft. That's when you start to determine a little bit more, is the free agent player. That's when those teams in the back of the draft start to determine, this kid and this kid might not be available at our pick. Is the free agent going to help us more than a later round pick? So, you don't have a shot at like Devontae Smith. You don't have a shot at Jamar Chase. You don't have a shot at Jalen Waddle. Is Corey Davis, is Schuster, and guys like that, the value. I mean, because you're still talking about two young players there. They're just going to cost you a lot more money.
So, you know what I mean? They're picking around number 19.
19.
So 19, what you'll have available to you at 19 is you'll have Rashad Bateman, Rondale Moore, Elijah Moore, Kadarius Toney, and also I believe Terrence Marshall and Damani Brown from North Carolina will all be around in that time frame.
Yeah, like I said, I like what Bateman looks like so far. Of course, we got a little bit more homework to do on those rest of those receivers, But to me, Corey Davis, that again, when you get to that end of that draft, I think Corey Davis and Schuster have a little bit more value now, and you have to pay.
So you're
pay
going
up.
so
I'm
for
taking-
Washington,
Yeah,
you're gonna
for
pay up?
Washington, I like Corey Davis. For Washington, I like Corey Davis to team up with
Big
Terry
shot.
McLaurin.
Don't draft one at 19. Sign number 19. Sign Juju.
Juju.
okay. Ham.
Well, hey, sometimes you just got to break your cardinal rule, man. I'm thinking I'm gonna roll with Sign on this one too, mainly because I don't know the other dudes you mentioned. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's cool. Draft or sign?
Before I make my decision, I got a couple questions to ask. Who is the offensive coordinator for the Washington Redskins?
Let me see.
Can I piggyback off that question? Who is their quarterback?
There you go.
Oh, now y'all asking more questions. Okay. But this is why the name of the game is draft or sign. So I'm asking, what y'all gonna do? Draft or sign?
What I want to know first is who is the offensive coordinator for the Washington Redskins? That's my first
Offensive
question.
coordinator,
Well,
Washington Red.
FC Washington, as they're affectionately known by us.
I sure call the Washington Redskins.
Oh, you Oakland, Trav, you full of it.
You got Scott Turner as the offensive coordinator right now.
And
Bingo.
Scott Turner has ties to what teams, what kind of ties?
Is he Norv's kid?
West. He is, yes.
Okay,
He is
that
a
makes
North.
a lot of
He
sense.
comes
He's
from
a
the
North
North Turner
Turner.
tree.
It's a North Turner tree.
It literally comes from the North Turner tree.
He was the Panthers quarterbacks coach for 2018 and 2019.
And who was the quarterback in
So worked with-
2018 and 2019?
He worked with Cam Newton.
Damn.
And who was the other guy that he worked with that also plays on that team?
Yeah, I forgot his name. He is signed by that team, right?
Kyle Allen.
Yeah.
Kyle Allen.
Kyle Allen is the key here in this situation, y'all. Kyle Allen
still playing
Came
football.
from- yes, Kyle Allen, the same Kyle Allen that played for the Panthers last year, was brought over to the Washington football team to
With
be
Scott
paired
Turner.
with that coordinator because they felt that
I remember you
coordinator was
saying
best,
that.
which is why Dwayne Haskins
Wayne
got put on the
Haskins, right? I remember you
Right.
saying that now.
In
cruise,
that,
cruise to the cruise, connect the dots. Just got. Oh, sorry. But that's what happened.
in that instance, I'm going with a vet. I'm going with a vet. And with McLaurin there, I would love for him to keep his one spot, but you gotta go big. You gotta go Allen Robinson.
Yeah, get yourself a big body receiver. You got that speed, that quickness from McLaren, that pure route running. Get yourself a big body player. You can interchange them between the X position,
Exactly.
X and the Z. So,
I'm gonna have fun with you.
hey,
I'm gonna say draft because you know what I'm gonna be worried looking to sign? My quarterback.
Interesting too.
Makes
All right.
sense.
It's hard. It's hard. The Atlanta Falcons. Oh, I'm about to. Yeah, y'all get ready for this one. Draft or sign. Now, Julio should be gone. I think we all can agree. It's time. Let Julio go somewhere else. Because y'all ain't never gonna be SH. Do you bring in a younger guy? And I'm only gonna give you one. Do you bring in Chris Godwin? Or do you sign Jamar Chase? Do you draft Jamar Chase or sign Chris Godwin?
Who you starting with first?
Trav, I'm gonna start with you because you spoke up so eloquently.
Okay. First of all, they don't really need to be giving up Julio. You know who they need to be giving up.
I know. I mean, but they still got a quarterback. So
Ain't no quarter. He is not a quarterback for your coach.
I was about to ask who they quarterback too.
The quarterback as of today. So that's what we got to go with.
Golly. You know what? You know what? One thing about Atlanta, they will draft a good wide receiver in a second.
They keep some.
They draft Julio. They draft Ridley.
Right.
I'm going with draft. I'm going with draft. And I went and if you're gonna keep it Alabama, go ahead and bring the Heisman Trophy winner. Because what pick is Atlanta? What, 5? 4?
5.
Get him.
4.
Get him.
4.
Get him. Get him.
Damn.
Draft it. And I'm like I said, my original question was, playing quarterback over there too, man. Because Deuce, it's time for Deuce to roll.
Hey, I'm waiting for my turn.
Big shot. I'm making big weight.
Too.
I'm saying sign for the simple reason that I have been in plenty of football chats with Jerm and Vic and Mo. They don't agree on much, but all three of them have all said at some point, don't draft a wide receiver in the top 5. So, based on
that is true.
The 22 logic, sign Chris Godwin was his name.
Yep.
Sign Chris Godwin. And that's all views from the 22 logic. So if it don't work, you could blame them.
Well, thanks,
Listen.
Big Shot.
Listen, everybody this is a great game because every team has their own needs. There's their own situation,
Exactly.
and of course their own spot in the draft, right?
Correct.
So the Falcons right now, as much as we feel, you guys know what we feel about Matt Ryan. I'm looking for a quarterback first. They need to draft one of these kids first. That's the number one thing, is to look for somebody to sit behind Matt Ryan if they have to for 1 year. Okay, and I'm talking about Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, even Trevor Lawrence. If they got to sit a year or whatever behind Matt Ryan, and even maybe 6 games into the season, kick him off into the bench and put one of those rookies in. But other than that, we're talking about receivers. Hey, man, draft Devontae Smith, and all of a sudden he'll be behind 2 Bama receivers if Julio stays. They got a lot of scenarios right there with that one. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Vic, you said the name that if I am the Falcons, now I know y'all ain't high on them, but if I'm the Falcons, I'm calling Jacksonville, and I will absolutely kick the tires on trading up to number 1. Because
you can probably get to number 1 with Julio in your pick.
I would see what they would take.
I would do Julio, my pick, and a second rounder, and they may take that for the number 1 overall pick.
Right. But
So,
I mean, even see, so when you get the number 1 overall pick, you have the choice of the whole lot, right? You have choice to get anybody you want.
Mm-hmm.
So even if Trevor Lawrence isn't your number 1 quarterback, you still jumping over 4 other teams or 3 other teams to get the guy that you want, whether it's Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, or Mac Jones. Which German and I, for those who have questions, we're ready to defend why we believe Mac Jones is an actual quarterback versus the guy from last year. So we're ready for that very soon. But again, whenever you get up to that pick, that's anybody goes in that pick right there. Anybody's available.
Absolutely.
I'm having fun with this game, yo, because this game is showing some different things here. Now I'm about to throw a monkey wrench in it now. The Dolphins at number 3. Draft Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, or sign Corey Davis or Chris Godwin. Big Shot, I'm going to start with you.
Oh, you dirty dog. Okay. I'm going to stick with views from the 22 logic. Y'all have told me for years, don't draft these wide receivers in the top 5. So we sticking with it. And I would definitely pick Corey. I would sign Corey Davis because if for some reason we can't make this Deshaun thing happen for whatever reason, I like Corey Davis' size and athletic ability. I think Chris Godwin is a better receiver, but I think Corey Davis would help a younger quarterback more because there's more area to throw to. I think Corey Davis could bail out Tua more easily than Chris. I mean, Chris Godwin is like a great route runner and does all the things you want. But my young fella gonna need somebody to go get the ball sometime. He's gonna need somebody that's gonna be able to take one of these hits over the middle a couple times because Tua be a little is erratic like that. So I'll take sign Corey Davis.
Okay. Trav.
Yeah. It just don't start with the wide receivers with them guys. But this is the choice in the game that you want to play.
Yep. This is how dirty I'm playing today.
You gotta get you a vet. You gotta get you a vet. And if you're gonna keep Tua, and the way you can get Tua involved is a lot of quick short passes. If we let him go, I gotta go and get me another damn jersey. Because Chris Godwin fits what Tua does and how to get him in rhythm, especially with the screen passes from the jump, from the screen pass to the tunnel passes to the quick routes to get open. Strong, big slot guy that can get open, get man up and get the first downs and get touchdowns and stuff like that. I really think you go after Chris Godwin. After a championship too, he gonna be down in Miami for the rest of his days. Get paid. He's set. He's set.
Jay Ham, what you doing?
I'm sticking to blind GM because you're a dirty dog for this. You know them people ain't got no quarterback. You gonna ask me which receiver to draft or sign. Who I'm gonna throw the ball? Who gonna throw the ball to him, G? See, this is why I do well in blind. This is why you got Harrison Barnes that day.
Sure is. But I got Embiid though too. So yep.
This is true. This is true. That's all.
And Malcolm Brogdon. Me and Big Shot got Embiid and Malcolm Brogdon. Let's go.
But I got 2 All-Stars out of it too, baby. And my All-Stars are even playing, I think, tonight.
Hey, that ain't fair. Don't do that.
Hey, but I probably would combination of what Trav and Big Shot said though on that one. I would go with a vet. Pick your vet, which one. Still got to, like Big Shot said, if you got some cat that can bail your young fella out, that builds his confidence. It goes a long way and things of that nature. Going back to Tua though, what if Tua been in the lab this offseason, y'all? He come back and it's like, okay, it's a progressing quarterback here. Is that what we saw? I'm just hypothetical, right. But what if?
Right.
No, and it's fair.
If Tua went to that Tony Romo school.
Yeah.
I just don't. Let me just say this. If he went to the Tony Romo school, then maybe I give him a chance. But knowing him, he went to Trent Dilfer school.
Listen, so a couple of things. I'll take my turn now.
Go ahead, Vic.
With Tua, there's always space, right, for the film study, right? There's always room for that. But then 2 things, right? Does he have the physical traits? And can he apply what he's seen on film, right, and process that when everybody on the football field? That's going to be the key. Because Tony was great at breaking down film. And as good as I think that Tony was, there was some situations where he was putting the ball at risk. And that's what Tua does. So Tua is a lab guy. We've heard of that. But is it going to apply on the field? So he has an issue processing at times.
I always attributed that to how Tony was coached.
Yes.
It's like y'all allow him to be Wild West, Brett Favre.
Erratic sometimes, yes.
Which leads to the erratic play.
Right. And then, but now the problem becomes is, does Tua have the physical traits? If he wants to put the ball at like, if he wants to make what's called a tight window throw, take a risky throw, can he physically make that risky throw in the NFL level? That's where I also have the questions for Tua. So leading on to what I think the Dolphins should do, right? And what might, I'm gonna go more realistic as to what I think might happen. If it's not gonna be Deshaun Watson, then I don't see them drafting anybody. They're gonna be like, well, we can't do Watson. I don't think we should draft somebody, even though they should. I think they said last year we drafted somebody 5th overall. This year we're just gonna have to suck it up and add some pieces. That's when I think that's what they'll look at. Corey Davis, go for a vet to help them out, and then draft some more offensive linemen. Jeremy might not agree with me with that, but I think they should really be looking at the left tackle out of Oregon. They did build a good offensive line, but I think when you can add more beef, whether it's in the defensive or offensive line, you take every opportunity, especially with players at that elite level. So if Deshaun Watson doesn't work out, sign me a veteran receiver. Corey Davis is excellent. Chris Godwin would be excellent. And draft me some beef on the offensive or defensive line for the Dolphins.
This one didn't have a right or wrong answer because they also have pick number 18. So they have pick number 3 and they have pick number 18. So they don't have to take a top tier receiver. They can draft and sign.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beautiful thing about where they are. And they can take a value guy, like for say somebody like Demarcus Robinson, who hasn't got a lot of snaps as an elite receiver because of the team he plays on, which is the Chiefs, and they can see how that plays out for him. Now you give another guy an opportunity.
Let's be realistic, man. As much as we like Devontae Parker, I mean, other than that, they don't have receivers. So if they have to draft and sign a guy,
they've been using Jeremy Grant a lot in screens. So I mean, it's not like you have a lot of those things. Exactly.
Preston Williams is another big body receiver, but can't stay healthy. Inconsistency, can't be healthy. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you can look at the Dolphins and really say, what do we really have as a pass catching options?
So, we're getting ready to wrap up here, but I wanted to make sure I did that. Shouts out to everybody for playing, draft or sign. Don't worry, we coming back with another edition. The other edition that we're going to come back with next week is probably going to be running backs and tight ends, but I'm going to let y'all know how I want to put that together. But with that being said, thanks to everybody for playing. But why is this important? Because cap space, as we see this year, is scarce. So we're seeing a lot of teams have to restructure and dump a lot of salaries because the cap space is so condensed. So your top 51 players go towards your actual cap, the top 51. After the top 51, that's when it doesn't go against the cap for some of these players. So in this situation, what we're looking at right now for a lot of these teams is, number one, a team like the Saints that are currently, right now as we speak, $48 million over the cap. They started the year off at $96 million over. So y'all only cut y'all debt in half.
Yeah, who was that?
Y'all got to restructure. Y'all still got to restructure your pass rusher, restructure your tackles. Then on top of that, you may have to trade your best cornerback, which is Marshawn Lattimore. You may have to move on from some players that make up your defense. And one of the reasons why is because you signed Mormon Tebow to a $16 million contract.
I was just about to say that's the one contract that need to be restructured.
And now they need that whole entertainment coupon book that the kids be selling at school fundraisers just to fill out a roster.
And that's what we get. So then you look at a team like that, and then you look at a team like Jacksonville that we talked about at the beginning of the show that has $87 million, and they already have a full roster. So they got a full roster.
51. They have past the 51 players too.
Right. They got 61 total players on their roster. So not only are they in a situation where they can afford to sign 2-3 big name free agents for the next 4 years and not have to worry about money, they got a young defense. Telvin Smith is going to retire. That gives you another aspect of some extra money that you're going to get back. $87 million, the first overall pick, the 21st overall pick, 2 seconds, not to mention 2 third-round picks, and $87 million. So why this is all important and why this is all tying together is because you have to draft and you have to sign free agents. The best teams in football do what? A combination of both. Because just because you draft well does not mean you don't need key free agents in certain spots. And this is your time right now where we look and say the quarterback position is that key spot. That's the spot you want to use for free agency. The left tackle, pass rusher, the guys who defend the pass, which is elite level safeties, and your cornerbacks. Those are the guys you want to spend free agent money on, not receivers, because every year we got receivers that come in. You can get 3 receivers that do exactly what Chris Godwin does in the first round. And if you don't want them in the first round, if you wait till the next round, you can get 3 or 4 more guys that can do the same things that you can do with Chris Godwin. And they're faster. And what is this NFL built around? Speed and quickness.
Yeah.
So if we're bringing college playbooks to the NFL, why are we not bringing the college players to the NFL and using them the way they were used in college? Professor True, just letting y'all know, this is just GM 101. I just want to give y'all a little game, a little perspective. Fellas, as we wrap up the show today, I didn't want to overload y'all with too much information because I had a 10-page paper that I could have gave y'all today. But instead, we want to condense it to a couple of minutes. So, fellas, as we wrap up the show, Trav, final thoughts.
Get what you need. Get what you need. That's the bottom line of this. Get what you need. You need linemen, get linemen. You need wide receivers, draft one. You need a quarterback. You need a quarterback. You may want to go with a vet with that. That's the lesson learned from the day.
Jay, I'm gonna come to you next. What you think?
Like, subscribe, share the videos, all of that. Sports Culture and Entertainment Network. We drop gems like this. We play the game, the mind games, the mental games, all of the good learning curve stuff that you're not gonna get watching the tube, provided nowhere else but right here. That's the only thing I got for them, man. Keep rocking with us.
Big shot.
It doesn't cost you to make a phone call.
Yeah, he just keep it simple.
If you really want that, if you are the Bears, if you are those 4 teams on Russell Wilson's list, pick the phone up. No, it's
That's
not
a song.
gonna give.
The song
Not
go,
gonna give.
if you really want it, all you gotta do is pick up the telephone and
See, what y'all don't understand is that Jerm was like 5 when this song came out.
I was 5 singing it, so it didn't make a difference. But with that being said, Vic, final thoughts for the show today. But then we'll wrap up.
Since everybody want to take these little shots here and there, I'm gonna say Trevor Lawrence is not only not the best player in the draft, but not the best quarterback available. So it's my shot.
I can't wait for that.
I'm waiting for that smoke.
I can't wait for that episode.
Yes.
So
I can't
what
wait.
we're gonna do?
I just want to know, will it reach the level of Saquon slander?
It may get worse.
Ooh, that's a great question.
Sign me.
That is it.
It may get worse.
I said it.
You want to know why it's gonna get worse? Because when I see a quarterback that plays in a quarterback-friendly offense that makes throws within 5 yards around the line of scrimmage, and you telling me that accuracy is one of his issues, then that means he's not a good quarterback.
So
Accuracy.
Forward, huh?
Oh yeah, but if another said quarterback had an issue with accuracy, they wouldn't be ranked as the number 1 player.
So what you're saying is you putting an S behind Lawrence?
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence.
Uh-huh.
Trevor Lawrence.
So with that being said,
Wow.
make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Again, the YouTube is THESCEN. SCEN is all in capital letters on YouTube. SCEN all capital letters on Facebook. The.scene, YouTube. Twitter, scene_the. Make sure you also check us out on Twitch, the_scene. We'll be back. We got 94 feet tomorrow. They will be coming at us live. We don't know what. Listen, we don't even know what's gonna happen. We don't know what's gonna happen. We got Blake to the Nets officially now. He has officially, the ink has dried by now. It is official. And we still got to figure out what's going on with that dude up in Cleveland. And Germ gonna find out some information for y'all. Don't worry. So with that being said, this is True Man False World and the guys signing out. We appreciate y'all. And just remember, man, never let the television tell your vision. We out, y'all. Take it easy.